It's me, the Nazarite, bringing you Hebrew lore from days of yore. This one really is lore from days of yore, because this time I'm talking about fasting. Now, today, Jews around the world observe the fast of Esther before the holiday of Purim, but I want to talk about fasting that's not just food and drink, but the greater sense, on a larger scale. What does it mean? So, to me, fasting means that you are devoting parts of yourself that would otherwise be used for consumption of food and drink. You're using it for in better ways. Or by abstaining from food and drink, you are realigning yourself with with an idea, with a purpose, with whatever it is you want to, the name you want to give it. Now, I want to talk about devotion. I think of fasting as an act of devotion. And devotion has a few different definitions. I'll read a couple from Merriam-Webster. Religious fervor, piety, an act of prayer or private worship, and the act of dedicating something to a cause, enterprise, or activity, the act of devoting. So when we are fasting, we devote certain energies that would otherwise be used for consumption of food and drink. We use them for what exactly? That's the point. You can abstain from food and drink and fast for a day, and then at sundown, you go back to eating and drinking, and nothing has changed. Or you could use that energy that the time you were abstaining from food and drink, and channel that energy, even if it's purely physical time, right? Temporal, the time I would spend eating, the time I would spend drinking, the time I would spend, the energy that I would expend, whatever it is, I can channel it and put it to better use. What is that better use? To each his own. Fasting is not just food and drink. Fasting can be anything that you pull away from for a certain period of time. Much like actual fasting from food and drink, there's only so much you can do that, for. There's only a certain amount of time you can do it for before your body breaks down and you die. If you don't have food and if you don't have, well, water or drink, you die. That's just fact, that's biology. So, in the same way, you can pull back from something, sometimes for life, but fasting is intermittent. And I'm not talking about the fitness and wellness trend intermittent fasting, although that surely is something we can open up. But right here, I'm talking about the fast of Esther, which is taking a day to not eat and not drink. What you do with that day, what you do with that time, what you do with that energy that you're not putting into food and drink, I suppose that's yours to do what you want with. That's the idea of the fast. It creates a vessel. It makes a place, it creates a space for that energy to manifest if you want it to. Some people, but this particular fast is sunrise to sundown or nightfall, but some fasts in the Hebrew calendar are from sundown to sundown, 25-ish hours. Either way, a lot of times and a lot of people, and this is maybe more common, well, no, forget that, but some people fast but are constantly focused on what they don't have. I don't have food, I don't have drink, I don't have energy, I don't have whatever it is. They're focusing on the lack of, which is understandable and it's a given. But I think that's not what it really is about. That's one facet of it, sure, but you could maybe start off that way or end up that way towards the end of the fast. But there is a time during the fast at some point where you should be able to say, yeah, I don't have food and drink. And that means that I should think about it, whether it's why. Some fasts are joyous and some are mournful. Like this one, it commemorates the near tragedy that occurred all those years ago in the kingdom of Persia. So this fast is basically saying, take a look around, take a look at yourself, abstain from something for like 12 or 13 hours, and devote part of the day to other things. Now, other things, it could be, for instance, I'm doing this. I just stopped working for a bit so I can do this because I told myself that even though I don't want to get into the habit of posting every day, I did that and I did that for a few months. I don't want to do it again, I think, for now. But it seems that as the days lead up to Purim, which is tonight and tomorrow during the day, as the days lead up to it, I felt the need to talk more about it. Certainly on a fast day like today, where it's when Esther, in the book of Esther, when she shows up um, at King Xerxes' palace and he hands her, he, what is it? He extends the scepter and that whole thing transpires. It's really, really amazing. She went into there still fasting, if I'm not mistaken, from 3 days. This is one day which we commemorate, but it's 3 days in the original book. So fasting is something good. The group Prayer Storm, which is a Christian group that is very much into the Nazarite vow, they consider it a kind of fast because many Christians don't do it for life. Many Christians will do it for a period of 30 days to whatever amount of time. And I've heard different Christian Nazarites, past or present, refer to the Nazarite vow as a fast. Or back when they were doing their Sober October, the Nazarite Challenge, and I had a video where I mentioned that back in October, some of them just went into a kind of fast where they would abstain from social media for a month. They would abstain from alcohol for a month. They would abstain from, let's say, pornography or masturbation for a month. Things of that nature where you take some time out, you abstain from a certain practice, activity, habit, if you can break it, and you refocus yourself on something that means something to you. Does that mean that you'll always be that way? No, but it means that in this fast, be it of a month or a week or a day, and however you want to take it, food and drink, technology, pop, 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 it means that you make room for something else to manifest. The fast is not so you feel bad for not eating and not drinking. There is that aspect of it, but your body at some point during today, my body is going to go, blah, 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 feed me. And I'm going to say, sorry, it's a fast day. Unless you're sick, you're not getting any food. Because today, as Rabbi Nachman of Breslov says, on fast days, usually it's the brain which is subservient to the heart. But on fast days, when we decide to abstain from food and drink, it is the heart which is subservient to the brain, to the mind. Because even though I really want it with my animal soul and my animal vitality, I want it. I need food. I need drink. Give me water, sustenance. Let me break my fast at breakfast. No, the fast goes on because I need to learn a couple of things. I do, more than a couple of things. And this day, a fast day, be it for joy or mourning, and they're very, very separate, but for all intents and purposes, they are days of fasting and a kind of abstinence. It means I want to refocus my energies properly. I want to take a look at myself and say, okay, right now I'm not eating and I'm not drinking for a few hours, fine. What am I doing on days when I am eating and drinking? Let's take it on that level. Am I eating and drinking properly? Am I giving thanks to my Creator? Am I being mindful of what I eat, how I eat, when I eat? Even on that level. And certainly when you get into the more spiritual or abstract spiritual ideas of who am I, what's my purpose, where am I going, that whole trip. A fast which is sunrise to sundown, seemingly not such a big thing. Some people treat it like a big thing, and I don't mean the elderly, I don't mean people who are sick, I don't mean the lady who just gave birth or is pregnant. Talking about everyday run-of-the-mill men and women of age who see this as a burden. And yeah, some parts of it are supposed to be that of a burden. We are beasts of burden. We are meant to take a load on and carry it. And today, the load is you are going to not eat and not drink for a specific period of time, and the load you're going to have to carry on your back is not just the borborygmus of the belly and the parching of the mouth or whatever you want to call it. That's the physical side of it. If you go past that even a little bit, even a little bit, you'll discover that there's more to it than just I'm not eating and I'm not drinking. What am I doing? All right, I'm not doing that, but what am I doing? Am I using this time for prayer? Am I using this time for devotion? Am I using this time to focus on what the fast is meant to facilitate? Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. Something like this, where I'm recording this video, I'm realigning my thoughts and my actions with what I want this day to achieve. Right? At sundown, I'm going to go back and eat, and it's going to be a joyous holiday at sundown. What do I do until that time? What do I do at the time, and what do I do from that time forward? This one day, right, one fast day, sunrise to sundown, is able to bring all that about. And I'm here doing my day job, and I took a break to do this because I feel that even though it's only a short day of fasting, you can accomplish a lot if you set your mind, if you orient yourself properly. I know that, well, different people do different things. There's a Torah reading on days of fasting, not private ones, but the public ones, like today. There's a certain part of the Torah which we read. I'm probably going to read it. I haven't been to synagogue in a very long time. I read things, and I read the Torah, and I learn Torah on my own. But the passages that we read, I'm not going to go through them now. They are very encouraging. In the Torah scripture and from Isaiah, if I'm not mistaken, Isaiah, which is meant to lift the person who's fasting, to lift them up. They basically say the same thing. There is a covenant. God says in Isaiah, just like the rain comes down from the heavens into the earth, and it does not stop until the earth yields its, brings forth its fruit and whatnot. It's the way of nature. I made nature in such a way that when it rains, that something comes out of the ground. And it's the same thing with my word, says God. If you let my words like rain into you, if you soak it up like the earth, it will bear fruit. And there's a covenant that exists from the times of Moses, from the times of Abraham, from the times of Adam. There is a covenant that exists. If you build the vessel, if you build it, they will come. If you build a vessel, and if you do it properly, if you do it with righteousness, and sometimes you don't even have to do it with all that, all the bells and whistles at first. Just orient your mind. This is what I want to do today. Today, not for 50 years, not for life. Today I want to fast. Today I want to orient myself properly. And maybe if I put my mind to it, I'll be able to have it, to have the fast keep going even after I'm eating and drinking. The memory of the fast and the things that I went through during the time of abstaining from food and drink, they will leave their mark, and they will create a kind of pattern in my heart, rewire my brain. I know people say it takes 66 days to break a habit and 90 days to acquire a new one, something to that degree. But certain things where there's a certain spiritual and physical energy that's very focused, you're able to accomplish certain things or perceive the potential for greater things in a shorter period of time. Much like in a dream where you can have a lifetime pass and it's only been a few minutes in the real world, this time of fasting and abstaining, right? For instance, when you're hungry, each minute that you're hungry, each borborygmi, each stomach gurgle that you feel is you saying, yeah, I'm feeling that right now, but there are more important things, and that's what I'm focusing on. That can yield results that carry on, for life sometimes. I'm hoping this fast is bountiful and plentiful in good energies and good vibes, and may we, the Hebrews among us, walk into this Purim holiday with joyous hearts and heads raised up high. Let's have a good one.